Hey everyone, welcome back to Reason in Theology. There's some breaking news here about the FSSP. It is about to receive an apostolic visitation, and a lot of people are really concerned about this. So we're going to take a look at a statement from the FSSP, what they're saying, and also what various people on Twitter are saying as far as their reaction to the news. Before we dive in, though, I want to remind you hit that subscribe button. I mean, this is breaking news, and here I am taking some time out on my Saturday. I got a lot of lectures that I'm preparing for an upcoming course that I'm teaching with Catholic Polytechnic University. I got a lot of stuff I'm doing, but I'm taking time out to go over this breaking news. I hope you appreciate that. If you do, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. It would help me out tremendously. Okay, let me go ahead and share to you my screen so we could take a look at what the FSSP itself is saying, because they just released a communication on the matter that gives just a little bit of details. There's not a lot right now. There's just not a lot to go based off of. But we do have a statement from, again, the FSSP.org official communication and statement, apostolic visitation of the fraternity. This was just published yesterday, so brand new, and it's just now kind of coming out for most people, so it's just starting to break on the internet. The priestly fraternity of St. Peter FSSP has recently been informed by the Dicastery for Institutes of Consecrated Life and Societies of Apostolic Life of the opening of an apostolic visitation of the fraternity. So this is going to be representatives of the Pope coming to visit them. For what purpose? Well, they say, as the prefect of this dicastery himself made clear to the superior general and his assistants during a meeting in Rome, this visit does not originate in any problems of the fraternity. So that full stop there. So the FSSP itself is saying this is not due to some kind of problem with the FSSP itself, but is intended to enable the dicastery to know who we are and how we are doing and how we live, so as to provide us with any help we may need. So they're interpreting it positively in light of previous conversations they've had with Rome. Now, you can imagine a lot of other people are interpreting it very negatively and differently, as we will see here in a moment. But the FSSP itself is saying, hey, this isn't something to worry about. It's not because of some problem originating with the FSSP, but this is a visitation to further assist the FSSP in completing its mission, in conducting its mission, I should say. The last ordinary apostolic visit of the fraternity was undertaken in 2014 by the Ecclesia Dei Commission. As the Dicastery for Institutes of Consecrated Life and Societies of Apostolic Life has been in charge of the FSSP and other former Ecclesia Dei institutes for the past 3 years, it now has the competency of this dicastery to look after the FSSP. So previously, it was under the Ecclesia Dei Commission. Now it's under this other dicastery for Institutes of Consecrated Life. So the way they're couching it is, this is so that that dicastery can get to know the FSSP, and it's not because there's any major issue with the FSSP. And they're also referencing that previous meeting with the Pope not long ago. Pope Francis meets FSSP head, confirms right to celebrate the traditional Latin Mass. Pope Francis was very enthusiastic about encouraging them to continue to exercise their charism, which is the celebration of the traditional Latin Mass, or the Missal of 62. And so it seemed to go really well. Pope Francis was very supportive of them. It notes even here on the National Catholic Register, the Pope was very understanding and invited the FSSP to continue to build up ecclesial communion ever more fully through its own proper charism. And this was just a few months ago. This was back in March. So it really wasn't that long ago. In fact, I think there was another meeting after this that was positive, if I'm not mistaken. So far everything was looking good, but now we got this visitation coming, and so some people are worrying. FSSP itself in the statement doesn't appear to be concerned. They're saying, hey, this isn't originating from a problem. But as you can imagine, again, some people are trying to say, well, you got to read between the lines. This is just kind of an excuse to shut it down or something like that. So we're going to take a look at those reactions. Some of y'all are just now tuning in. Hey, thank you so much for joining the stream. Hit the subscribe button if you don't mind for me. I would greatly appreciate your support of the channel, especially if you've been benefiting from the content here. All right, let's briefly just take a look at a few responses from various people. So we have Raymond Arroyo just posted not long ago, all manner of foolishness is allowed on church altars, but now those who worship in the ancient rite of the faith are investigated, held in suspicion, or helped. And I was reading through the comments. Some people were, pushing back on the notion that somehow the Missal of 62 is an ancient rite. Others were saying, oh, yeah, this is absolutely the Vatican trying to trash and destroy the ancient liturgy. You have Diane Montanga, who 5 hours ago just said, just in, Vatican orders apostolic visitation of priestly fraternity of St. Peter. FSSP told Visitation that it does not originate in any problems, but aims to enable dicastery overseeing them post traditionis custodes to know who they are so as to help them. And of course, a lot of people in her comment section are saying, yes, help them, which they're interpreting as an excuse to basically destroy or dismantle the FSSP. One commenter, Patrick Coffin, a sedevacanist former Catholic who used to be the host of Catholic Answers, has said, we're Team Bergoglio, or Bergoglio. I'm sorry, I have Father James Altman's pronunciation stuck in my head. We're Team Bergoglio, and we've come to help you, quote unquote. And so, again, some people are just kind of interpreting this as, yeah, this is just basically a ruse. It's a disguise to effectively dismantle and shut down the FSSP because the Vatican hates the ancient rite. It hates the ancient rite, but it just loves every other form of liturgy, no matter how sacrilegious. And so again, that's kind of the take that a lot of people are coming away with if you look in the comment section on some of these posts. There's a little bit of a different take here. I saw this from Mike Lewis. He says the FSSP is putting a positive public spin on it, but I think there's likely much more to it. So he has the position that he thinks, okay, well, I think that there might be something else going on here, and the FSSP is just kind of spinning it in a positive light, but they may have something to worry about. Now, obviously, there's pretty wide range between, your Mike Lewis's of the world versus your Patrick Coffins. But both of them seem to take the position that there might be something else going on here. Well, it's kind of hard to determine at this time, given that there really isn't a whole lot of information available. As you can see, that statement from the FSSP is really all we have. It's very brief, very short, not a whole lot to it. They're, again, interpreting it positively, but, and it's, again, in light of positive interactions they've had with Pope Francis and others before. But could it be a prelude to something else? Could it be an excuse to identify problems? Well, that's how some people are interpreting it. I suppose it all kind of depends on whether you're an optimist or a pessimist, or whether or not you're suspicious of the Vatican and you think it's out to suppress the truth. If it's out to suppress the true, the good, and the beautiful, you're going to interpret this as the Vatican is just using this as an excuse to shut it down. If you're interpreting the Vatican from a disposition of trust And no, the Holy Father is not trying to destroy tradition. That's not what's going on. You'll likely see it differently. You'll probably conclude what the FSSP stated. But then you might have some people in, somewhere in the middle who don't have that disposition of suspicion when it comes to the Vatican, but still sees this as a prelude to something more. So I guess that's kind of Mike Lewis's position there. So seems to me there's various views out there. I'm seeing one from the SSP, one from Mike Lewis, and then another from your Patrick Coffins of the world and your Raymond Arroyos of the world. It's too early to tell for sure. All you can kind of go based off of is what has the Pope said so far about the FSSP. His comments have been positive, has told them to continue to do what they do. The FSSP has noted that as well. So I think if we're just going to go based on that, there really shouldn't be a whole lot to worry about. Unless you're going to say, well, no, all of that is just a huge disguise and plot to infiltrate the FSSP or to tear it down. And, I suppose there's going to be people who interpret it that way, but I don't think there's enough evidence to really come away with that just yet. I think it's a little too early to tell. As some people are noting there in the comment section, I agree with you. I think it's a little too early to say for sure. Let me take a look at some of these comments because I want to get your feedback. What do you think is going on here? By the way, while I'm looking through the comment section, hey, everybody, hit that like button and the subscribe button. I would really appreciate your support of the channel. Okay, have I seen the news about Alejandro Bermudez, former head of CNA? Yes, I was talking about that with my patrons just a few days ago. The former head of Catholic News Agency was kicked out of, removed from, I forget which society it was. I'd have to go and look at the details, but I did see that it was that person, and I think maybe 10 others were removed by the dicastery. Yeah, for abuse, and in this particular case, I think it said abuse of journalism. There was a whole bunch of allegations of abuses among all of them, physical abuse, and then I think there was one that said an abuse of journalism. I thought that was pretty interesting. Okay. Did I see Pope Francis's address on the opening of the synod? It was super solid. I haven't read it in detail, but I have seen a few headlines where he was talking about how there's not going to be any kind of novelty here or something like that. I saw something to that effect, but I didn't really look at the details yet. I've been preparing all day long. I've been preparing for multiple lectures for the upcoming course that I have with Catholic Polytechnic University. By the way, it's not too late for y'all to sign up for it. In fact, I'll pull up the website real quick just to show you where you could go if you want to sign up. I've been working on that all day, getting ready for these lectures that begin as part of the Magisterial Studies Certificate program that I began in conjunction with the university. So teaching there as a adjunct professor. And we're beginning course number 2. Feel free to message me if you want to take course number 1, but we're doing now course number 2 out of 3 for the Magisterial Studies Certificate program. And this is going to be a historical overview of magisterial interventions. And so we're going to go over the magisterium and 2,000 years of church history. And so there's going to be a heavy focus on all 21 ecumenical councils. What did the church teach in these ecumenical councils? What have various popes taught? Ex cathedra in the first millennium, in the second millennium, what are some important papal statements and teachings, and so on and so forth. And so covering all of that in 10 lectures beginning this Monday at 7:30 p.m. Central, September 30th through December 2nd. However, if you can't attend the lectures live, that's perfectly fine, because I will also record them and post them in the classroom for the students, so you can then watch it maybe the next day or really at any time. You'll have them available to you because they'll be recorded, and no prerequisites required, so you're able to just jump in having not taken the previous course if you want. And so you could just simply go to catholicpolytechnic.org, click on the certificate tab here at the top right, and it's not too late to sign up since we got 2 days before the lectures begin, so you could still squeeze it in if you're interested. There is a registration form on that page where you could go to do that, and so if you're interested, feel free to check it out. So yeah, I've been preparing for that. I haven't really been able to look at a whole lot. I just prepared 2 lectures on Nicaea 1, Constantinople 1, Ephesus 431, and Chalcedon, and that's just, there's a lot there. So I've been kind of weighed down preparing for those lectures, and so I really haven't been able to follow a whole lot. But I was able to pull up Twitter, and I saw a lot of people were talking about this issue with the FSSP, so I was able to look into it and said, hey, you know what? Let me go ahead and go live and touch on this, because I think this will be beneficial to people to take a look at. Vincent, yeah, excited for you to be joining us with this course. Looking forward to that. What else we got here in the chat? What happened to the disposition of charity in the Catholic faithful? It seems like more fall and slander every day. Well, yeah, I hear you. You're of course supposed to start out with a disposition of interpreting things in a positive way, not in some kind of negative way with evil suspicion. But you got to think, I mean, did a lot of Catholics ever have that mentality to begin with? It seems to me that a lot of Catholics didn't really have that mentality. And but yeah, I think it's getting worse and worse. People are becoming more and more suspicious or more cynical. So usually people are going to see this kind of news and just interpret it in the worst possible way. I'm not saying that's right, but I think that's what's going on, because there's been so much negativity, so much criticism, so much distrust with the Pope among Catholics at this point, to where they hear anything, they interpret it in the worst possible way. Again, I'm not saying that's right, but I think that's what's going on. It's kind of like you're on a battlefield and you hear somebody step on a stick. You might you might jump immediately, start shooting, and you know, you might be one of your own people, right? And you all of a sudden start shooting at them. I think that's kind of maybe what's going on here. Great Wall says, I hope this gets established as a repeating course offering. Yeah, likely will. Okay. Okay. What else we got here? Looking through the chat. X is the Wild West, Vincent says. Yes, it is. I'm pretty fascinated by looking through the comment section on the posts about the FSSP. It's very revealing on where we are as a church, the state of things, where people's mentality generally is. It's very interesting to see how people interpret news like this with very little information. They seem very confident in the way they know how this is going to shake down. Very interesting the way that works, huh? Okay. Making sure I grabbed everything there from the chat. Did I see I'm racist? I have not seen that, no. Okay. Even the Pope splainers on X can be crazy, Vincent says. I had one of them the other day tell me that I'm a traitor because I offered some constructive criticism of the Pope, which I do pretty much every week. So it's nothing new. Evidently, that was new for this person. But they interpreted that as me being a traitor to the papacy. There's some wild stuff out there. There's some really unbalanced people. They have no balance. Who told you were a traitor? I did a whole Patreon show about it. Go check it out. It was a week ago that I did a whole show on it. So if you're a patron, you want to know more about who did that, and go and watch. I make available all kinds of extra content for patrons, and you get the nitty gritty. So go and watch it. You'll enjoy that. I can guarantee it. And if you're already not a patron, join at patreon.com/reason and theology at any participation level. You'll get access to that video and all the other patron only videos. Yeah, et tu brute, I was told. Yeah. You're a good guy, Faye says. We all have different views. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, happy to disagree with people on things. There's no problem with that. Kefa says, I've been telling everyone in my Catholic Discord server to come subscribe to you. So hopefully they do. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I really do. And again, those of y'all just now tuning in, if you've been benefiting from Reason and Theology, hit the subscribe button, because again, I look at the analytics and I'm constantly seeing in the analytics section, the majority of people who are watching this content aren't actually subscribed to the channel. And so people are benefiting from the channel, but they're not doing their part to hit the subscribe button. So if you have benefited from the content, do your part, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. All right, that's going to do it. I got to head out. See y'all later. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, let me know that in the comment section. Okay, take care. God bless.